This is lesson number 6 on this good little sorrel horse. We're up here in the calving pen, the square pen, and starting every day with our little warm-up. Just getting his mind to the thinking side of his brain and not the reactive side. So just starting like we do every other day, just leading him around in a circle, making him move out, follow his nose, and then going through some of the steps that we've gone through already, getting up on him bareback, and again, making him follow his nose and stopping, and yeah, so kind of cut out a little bit there. My phone did tip over, so I had done quite a bit before I realized it was facing the dirt. So got that thing tipped back up, just jumped right back up on him and getting him going again. Like each and every video we talk about the laying that foundation and that being two simple things: getting a horse to move out and getting him to stop, and starting on our feet, getting him to walk around us, follow his nose, bend in a circle, soften that rib cage, feet following the line of a circle, and then transitioning from our feet up to his back. In the last video, I did get him. I've had him saddled a couple times, and I put a lot of emphasis on getting on and off of him. And kind of told a story there about, sending some horses to some customers, and that really made them a lot happier, is that them horses, they could stand plumb still and they could get on and off of him. So when I do saddle these horses every day, or every day that I do get to them, not saying I get on them each and every day, but I think this horse had a day off in between these last two videos. But I like to saddle them just kind of like you would a normal old horse. Some horses, they are a little sketchy, they are a little watchy, and you got to ease that saddle right up on there. But one time, my Grandpa Lee Lopez used to talk about needing a horse kind of in a hurry, catches his horse and goes throw this saddle on, and he kind of spooks and shies away, and of course, being in a hurry, it just made matters worse when he couldn't get mounted and get to doing what he needed to be doing in time. So I guess I kind of heard it from him, maybe even through my Uncle John, that when you go to saddle these horses, you want to just start getting them used to the way you're going to saddle them each and every day. I kind of toss that blanket up on there and throw that saddle up on there and start cinching them up. I don't ease that saddle up on a lot of horses. So that's something we're always working for. Again, we're aiming for perfection. We're not going to get it, but each and every day, if I can kind of get a little bit more, I don't want to use the word sloppy, but if I can kind of toss that thing up there and throw that saddle up there and get them more and more used to that stirrup and cinches and things, kind of coming to that offside, and just knowing that it's not there to hurt them, and it's not gonna scare them or nothing. So again, this horse here is a customer horse, so when he goes home, I don't want them to be walking around eggshells with this horse. I just want them to treat him like another part of their herd, and another horse, another good using horse for them, and so that's kind of part of that groundwork and that etiquette that I try to keep working towards with these young horses. So real easy, getting kind of a method, or not the method, but getting kind of a system down and something to do each and every day. A schedule, I guess I should say, is like, first just being on the ground, making him follow his nose, making him move out, making him stop, doing that each direction. And obviously this horse does it really well, so I just was able to get right back up on his back, bareback anyway, and do it from there, getting him to go both directions, move out, follow the nose, and stop. And then I felt like he understood that really well. Even again, if he wasn't perfect at it, that's okay. I mean, he gets the gist of it. He's kind of figuring out. I'm kind of wanting to get that saddle up on him and start training him out of the saddle, and because that's where I'm comfortable. I mean, I don't want to ride a horse bareback for 10 days or something, but so if I can get up in that saddle and get to riding him, I'm just going to kind of keep moving him right along. And that kind of goes into our video that we talked about last time, is when to move these horses along and when they're ready to take that next step. So get him saddled up, then gonna go do the same exact thing. The only thing with this is I gotta add the mounting and dismounting. So I'm gonna kind of step up there on each side, up and down, and make for darn sure that this horse is good and fear free with me up on him. So and again, in between each kind of new exercise, right? Like me getting up and down or anything like that, I kind of break it up by going right back to working him in a circle, making him follow his nose, just kind of loosen him up a bit, and if I have to, I'll lead him around in a circle. You guys have probably seen me do that, but here today I'm kind of really wanting to work towards getting up on him, getting him to move out underneath the saddle, and I know it shouldn't be that big of a deal with these young horses, and this one in particular. He's awesome. He's taking it phenomenal. The cinch isn't bugging him. The back cinch isn't bugging him. Them stirrups dangling on each side aren't bugging him at all. But some horses are way more sensitive, and any little twitch or movement or pull on that saddle kind of can get them looking, and it might take a little bit more time. So that's why I do put a lot of emphasis on getting on and off, because as you can tell, I ain't the smallest guy in the world. So when I get some weight up in that stirrup and I start swinging a leg over, my saddle is going to be pulling on him. It's going to be the saddle might be pulling on the withers just a little bit. The front cinch might be kind of gripping up underneath that belly, and maybe if they do kind of put a little bit of a hump in their back, that back cinch might then be touching their belly. So there's a lot of moving parts there, and so it's no different when I get in on their back with a saddle versus being bareback. Is there's things that are moving on their body that aren't moving when I'm on them bareback, right? When I'm on them bareback, they can just they can basically really feel my legs and my seat right on their back. Whereas with the saddle, they kind of got that saddle blanket up there. That's they got a saddle and stirrups dangling and just a lot of extra moving parts. So if it looks like I'm being a little extra cautious and stuff with this horse and taking a few extra steps, it is because I am. I'm not just gonna barrel up on him and really hoping for a bronc ride. I'm wanting to teach this horse that when I get on him, all I'm asking him is to move out at the speed that I'm asking him to move out in, and that's going to transition to when you get on these horses at the barn or at the trailer, or you're going out to do some job, is that they're just going to ease out from under you the first time you step on him, and that can go. I guess I do got kind of a story about that too. Is these young horses, once we get going, and I might just be tying them up to the rail there at the barn and getting them saddled up. I don't just crawl on them and start loping away from home. Sometimes they might have a little anxiety of leaving their buddy out in the crell, or just seeing spooky things out in the yard. We do got some semi trailers and some grain bins, and we got trees and dogs and stacks of hay, and we got some foxes that live out in there, and just whatever. There's a lot of things to look at. So sometimes when I saddle them up at the barn, I will lead them just to the end of the driveway, which is it's probably 300 yards or something, and out to the main road or to the ditch, or and from there I can kind of get down to a gate or get somewhere that I need to be, riding him outside and things like that. But just that little walk and that little bit of slow time before I get on him and ask him to go to work, that's kind of what I'm preparing him for right here, in this pen, by just kind of walking him around and ease him into it. I'm not expecting the owners of this horse to have to warm him up or round pen him a bunch or get him ready to go. I'm just expecting him to be able to get saddled and bridled, and if they want to crawl on him and ease him out into a walk, then that is what he's going to be trained to do and looking forward to. Otherwise, sometimes I feel like if I get on these colts, especially in the crell, right? Because sometimes you can be pretty brave in the crell when you know that you got a barrier and he can't really go anywhere. You can kind of get on him and start asking him to really move out, ask him to really take off and on a trot or on a lope or whatever it is, and then that's going to transfer over into your barn etiquette too, and your saddling etiquette. And when you have him tied up and you're trying to saddle him and you're trying to bridle him, he knows like his engine's going, right? Like he's revving up. He knows that, man, when this cowboy steps up in the stirrup or swings a leg over my back, it's time to get after it and get with it, and we got to take off. Well, going back to what I talked about in the last video about mounting and dismounting, same thing goes with moving them out underneath the saddle. Is not everybody can get on a moving horse like that, or a young horse that's got a little anxiety or wanting to go back to the kraal or wanting to go back to the barn. But that's why I think if we can just get them to move out at a walk and be trained that way and not have any anxiety, then I think it just make a better horse, So yeah, obviously here I'm just gonna continue to get him to move out from underneath me, following that pressure on my inside leg, using that inside hand, and starting to get him to stop with two reins and back up just a little bit. And I guess something about this, getting them to move out, I should say it might be kind of like the next layer of the foundation. Maybe not even the next layer, maybe a coating, I guess, if you could phrase it that way. But I want him to move not only in the direction that I want him to move, but also at the speed that I want him to move. And I guess that kind of goes back to the speech I just gave about getting on a horse at a barn. But I'm trying to train him. If I'm asking him to walk, I want him to walk. I don't want him to go any faster or any slower. If I'm asking him to trot, I want him to trot. I don't want him to go any faster or any slower. So when I continually kind of keep slapping him on the butt there to keep him in a trot, that's to keep him from stopping or slowing down, and trying to just tell him like, hey, when I ask you to trot, stay in a trot. When I ask you to walk, stay in a walk. And that's going to transfer over to the barn etiquette too. Again, working that two-hand stop, getting him to back up, give into just a little bit of pressure and kind of releasing. One thing about this horse that I would say is that he is a little bit strong into the halter. I mean, it's not a big deal. And recording this voiceover now is, I've actually rode this horse about 20 more times. And so it's kind of, looking back, I can see little signs of it. But, I did notice it, when you lead him around, he's always kind of at the end of a halter rope, and let's say you stop to get a gate, he always takes about another step and runs into you and things like that. So, it takes a little bit more pressure to get him to follow that rope and back up a little bit. But that's kind of the only thing I'd knock on him. But pretty good horse. Again, I just kind of got him to do what I was asking, hold and maintain speed, just kind of, again, putting a coating on that foundation up here, and that way when we start riding him at the barn, it's going to be a nice and pleasant day. So thanks for watching.